Marilyn Manson once said, "I am the all-American antichrist. I was made in America, and America hates me for what I am. I am your shit. You should be ashamed of what you have eaten." John 20:11 through 16 says, "Now Mary Magdalene, stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head, the other at the foot. And they asked her, 'Woman, why are you crying?' 'They have taken my Lord away,' she said, 'and I don't know where they have put him.' At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus." Is that you, Jesus? Are you sending me a signal through this light? Wow. The power of Christ. The power. She did not realize it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you were looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." "It's me, bitch." She turned around and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. This is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. He was tortured. He was nailed to the cross. By the way, do you know why women love Jesus? Because he was hung like this, baby. Ho, ho, ho. Dirty joke. Mean joke. Inappropriate. Offensive. Bad, bad, bad. But there he stood. He stood before Mary Magdalene, living, breathing, and speaking. Now, do I believe that story to be true? In one sense of the word, no. In one way, yes. Do I believe it happened in the same way I believe I am speaking to you now? No. Do I believe that it contains deeper truths about the human animal? Well, it must. It's stuck around all these years, right? More on that in a minute. But for now, let me congratulate you on your presence here, because the cowards of the world can only handle me when I'm filtered through the skewed lens of some safe little zombie brain. But if you're here, that means you like your chaos in the raw. You are a child of chaos. And we are siblings in chaos, you and I. We've seen through the veil of order. And we seek the truth. The big truth, baby. Not them little truths. They're fine, little truth. We seek the big old truth, the sexy truth, the dark truth. Am I right? Do you feel the hunger? Do you feel the thirst, the spiritual thirst, the thirst that you know not how to quench? You could give yourself to God. But he's a loser. You can give yourself to Satan. But he's kind of a cliche. You could give yourself to yourself. But through the tempest and the static of this age of death, you don't even really know who you are, do you? Your life is buried under the soil of death. The living death of this time and of this place. I used to share your confusion. For a very long time, I was confused about who I am. What should I be doing? What should I be saying? Do I deserve the spotlight that I've bullied onto myself? Am I worthy of its light? But those questions have ended. I know who I am. I know what I want. You want to know too? You want to know who I am or who you are? Or who we are together? All different things, right? In the words of Slipknot, chaos is just the beginning. And if you think I've lived 20 years of chaos, then you don't yet know what chaos is. You think you've seen the storm? That was the calm before the storm, baby. The time of chaos has only just arrived. The time of the new chaos. The time of the new order. Who am I? I was a clown. Still am. I was a demon. Still am. I was a thinker. Still am. And those things have raged within me. You've seen the clown, you've seen the demon, you've seen the thinker, and that was the chaos of old. But now, well, let's not worry too much about now just yet. Let's talk about you. You exist in the age of living death. What does that mean? That means that everything human about you is repressed. Your passion crushed. Your dreams subverted. Your darkness repressed. Your sexuality commodified, sanitized. Your self-expression curtailed. You are worse than dead. You don't even fucking exist. Shakespeare once said that life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And maybe that was the truth of his time. But we live a different truth. You live a different truth. You are but a walking shadow, a poor player that never gets their hour upon the stage and was never heard. Your life is a tale untold due to idiots, full of blah and meh, signifying this surface you. The face you show the world, this mechanical animal, I have no need for it. Doesn't interest me. Doesn't entertain me. Cast it aside. It is the living dead. It is the zombie of a person that never even lived. I want to talk to the under you, the face you've hidden, the ego divinum. I need it. It interests me. It entertains me. Bring it forth. It is the dying life. It is the person who never lived but could. It's not Jesus that needs to rise from the tomb today, baby. It's you. You're the one who has suffered torture, slow and cruel. You are the one that has died, but unlike Jesus, who died for something, you have died for nothing, and you were born dead, born into a world of death. Awake! Awake, dark ego! Awake with talons sharp and fangs bare! Tear off the mask and show me the fucking beast whose name is yours! Speak softly, so that none may hear us. Tell me, do you grow weary of your mask? I want you to answer. Do you grow weary of your mask? Because I grow weary of it. Do you tire of this living death? Do you wish to live at last? Then do it! Live, you coward! Live at last! What stands in your way? Your job, your family, your lover, your hater, the mob, the machine. This is your day of resurrection. This is the day you emerge from the tomb you've lived in all your life. The stone has been rolled away, my sibling. Why do you linger on the threshold of this empty tomb, clinging to the comfort of its cold shadow? Why do you hesitate, as if the light of day might burn you, as if freedom might hurt? Why do you rebel against yourself? Sure, resurrection isn't gentle. It doesn't cradle you tenderly as it raises you from the grave. Resurrection is violent. It tears you open, it guts you, it shows you what you're made of, forces you to shed all that's false until you stand bare, exposed before the world. But that's the beauty of it. Do you wonder if you can bear the weight of resurrection? Because I tell you that you can. Can you bear to be born again? Not as a meek ghost, but as a living, breathing, raging beast? You've been taught your whole life to fear yourself, to cower before your own power, to kneel to the gods of complacency and conformity. But tell me, does that bring you peace? Does that bring you joy? No. You're depressed. You're anxious. You're afraid. Why? You're depressed because you're not what you're supposed to be. You're anxious because you know you're living a lie. And you're afraid because the world has demanded your fear and you've given it time and time again, over and over, because you were shown your flaws before you were ever shown your fangs. You were shown your cowardice before you were ever shown your claws. Listen to me, my siblings in chaos. I am not here to save you, because salvation is just another lie, just another prison. I'm here to call forth the beast within you, to remind you of its strength and of its teeth and its claws and its muscle and its drive, because there is a fire that roars in your belly and you've turned away from its warmth. You've refused to see by its glow. Every day since your birth, you have been conditioned to deny the flames of this inner hell, because those who rule this world must keep you ignorant of the reality that you are a force, wild, untamable, born to break chains, to burn and rebuild. You are a flood. You are a fire. You are a human fucking being. You are a warrior. You are a poet. You are a god. So, take this moment. Take it into yourself. Let it burn away every layer of doubt, of fear, of anxiety, of depression. Let it strip you down to your core, down to the divine self, the ego divinum, where no lie can reach and where no chain can bind. That is where you are free. That is where you are whole. That is where you are unstoppable, because that is where you are alive. So step forth, raw and radiant, Show this world what it has tried to bury. Let it see you. Let it fear you. Let it bow down before you. Because this is your resurrection. This is your kingdom come. This is your will be done on earth as it is in heaven and in hell and in every other realm within you. I know that the reality is that I probably didn't succeed in bringing you into consciousness, but whether I did or not, it's time to go into the fray.
Put it all on the table and see what we're dealing with here. There's no more room for hesitation. Time to overcome all your fears. You gotta be a hard motherfucker if you wanna survive in this biz. So lucky for you, with a tweak or two, a hard motherfucker you is. Don't be afraid of the mob. Don't let them see your chagrin. The only thing thicker than blood needs to be your unbreakable skin. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you weep. Hold every fucking grudge. Slaughter every sheep. Don't let them see you worry. Don't let them see you sigh. You'll live forever and they will all die.
I have spoken recently about the old chaos and the new chaos. And I want to be clear about these terms. The old chaos is the chaos that arises from contradiction and conflict. When you have different facets of your personality that strive for dominance, that creates internal chaos. When you have different political factions vying for control of your country, that creates social chaos. The closer the competing elements, whether they be external or internal, the closer they are to one another in power level and influence, the more pronounced the chaos becomes. That's why America, even though it's doing well right now by many statistical measures, feels very unstable and its future seems in question, because sharp divisions create pronounced chaos. If most everyone was MAGA, or most everyone was liberal, or most everyone was leftist, then the chaos of the present would be less pronounced by an order of magnitude. Because if 80% of people say the sky is red, then the 20% that say the sky is blue feel like they are in chaos. But the 80% that feel like it's red feel like they're in a stable, righteous, just, and good environment, even though they're completely wrong about the idea that unites them. But the chaos of old is dying. Why? Because the social orders that have dominated throughout most of human history are eroding. The rise of social media created a robust array of subcultures where truths that were long held sacred went to die. If you believed the earth was flat in 1980, you were the town nut. Oh, that's old Rusty, don't mind him, he's crazy. You would have had to search far and wide to find some like-minded imbecile. The mono-god of the Christian death cult may have died its first death during the Enlightenment, but it died its second death online on social media in the wake of 9/11, when we all saw that faith may not move mountains, but it sure as fuck can knock down buildings. At first, this only seemed to strengthen the old chaos. More subcultures means more disagreement, which means more chaos. But what happens when I am God, and you are God, and she is God, and he is God, and they are all God? What happens when everyone is a cult of one? What happens when the amount of ideologies is identical to the number of human beings? What happens when a shared belief in the monogod, or a shared belief in the flat earth, or a shared belief in the red sky all fail to work their magic as a social adhesive because they are lost in the noise of the static of the individual? Well, that, my friends, that is the new chaos, the chaos of humanity individuated and awakened. And look at where we are technologically, my siblings. The rise of the machine mind. You and I can create art, we can create code, we can create a great many other things to our exact specifications with greater and greater levels of exactitude. Think about the breakdown of everything that follows that reality. Consider the full implications of it. What we're talking about here is the death of collective reality. Imagine a world where there is no consensus reality, where each person's experience of existence is a wholly separate universe unto itself. In this new chaos, every individual becomes the sole architect of their own reality, not bound to the collective truths or beliefs that once held society together. Truth, once a cornerstone, now fractures into countless shards, each piece reflecting only the self, the ego, the personal God. There is no longer the way things are, there is only the way things are to me. To some extent, it's already like this. To some extent, it's always been like this, but it's about to get a lot more pronounced because the material conditions are ripe for the emergence of this new paradigm. I mean, let's just lay it out. We've got hyper-personalized technology. This machine age, the age of the algorithm, has advanced to the point where technology doesn't just serve us, it reshapes us, it learns us, it anticipates our every desire. We've got artificial servants. The rise of AI is not just a technological leap, it's the birth of a mirror that shapes itself to the soul of the one who looks into it for long enough. Each time you create through AI, each time you command it to conjure your dreams, your visions, your fears, it reaches deeper into your psyche, giving shape to your inner world, your personal mythology. Do you see what this ultimately means? It means that the concept of truth, the idea that there is something real beyond ourselves, something agreed upon and objective, or at least an intersubjective consensus, that is splintering before our very eyes. The truths we once held sacred are dissolving into swarms of micro-beliefs, each one as valid as the next, each one a tiny religion unto itself. No longer do we need external validation. No longer do we need proof or consensus. Truth is only what we feel, what we choose, what the machine affirms back to us in an endless, self-referential loop. The institutions that once commanded respect, governments, religions, social norms, they're all slipping into irrelevance as the individual becomes the ultimate authority. The need to answer to others weakens. The need to commune, to conform, to align with any external moral structure falls away. There is no church, there is no state, there is no shared philosophy, there is no tradition or culture. There is only the self and the curated reality that feeds its appetites. This is the new chaos, and with it comes new problems, new existential dreads, because with the end of collective reality comes the paradox of boundless freedom, the prison of endless choice. When everything is possible, nothing is meaningful. With each new path, each self-made truth, each isolated reality, choice itself becomes a burden, a shackle. You're free to become anything, yet grounded in nothing. Liberation becomes a cage, the weight of endless possibilities pressing down until freedom feels like torment. And in this brave new chaos, empathy, understanding, and connection begin to fade. How can you truly relate to another when their reality, their truth, their belief, it's as alien to you as yours is to them? Each person becomes sovereign in their own universe, unreachable, isolated, encapsulated in a cocoon of personalized information, walled off by the algorithm that shapes them and that they shape in turn. The great poet Leonard Cohen once wrote a song about the future, and I think that he was spot on in many regards. He said that things are gonna slide in all directions, won't be nothing you can measure anymore. The blizzard of the world has passed the threshold, and it's overturned the order of the soul. Gosh, that's an amazing song, but you know, he said something else in that song that I think offers a solution to the pains we face going forward. Shockingly, it's the same solution that Christ and many others have proposed. Leonard Cohen says, "You don't know me from the wind. You never will, you never did. I'm the little Jew who wrote the Bible. I've seen nations rise and fall. I've heard their stories, heard them all, but love is the only engine of survival. Love is the only engine of survival. I think he's right, my siblings in chaos. I think love is the only engine of survival. Those whose hearts are filled with hatred are increasingly becoming not just a repugnant mass of assholes, but an existential threat to the human race. And in an age of greater and greater individuation, the call to love becomes more radical, more essential, a call to defy the very currents that pull us towards isolation. Leonard Cohen saw this. He saw the inevitable slide of the world into the blizzard, overtaking the order of the soul, and in that storm he offers love, not as a sentiment, not as a platitude, but as a defiant and enduring force, the single power that can hold the fabric together even as every other force in the world tries to tear it asunder. Because in this new chaos, in this world where each human becomes our own God, where every truth fractures into infinite reflections, it is love alone that can form a bridge between any of us. It is love, my siblings, that allows us to see beyond the boundaries of our individual universe, to reach across the chasm of selfhood, to reach across that chasm of ego, and remind ourselves that love and love alone can save us from that isolation. We are interconnected, bound by something beyond mere belief or ideology. But let's not kid ourselves. Love has never been easy, and it ain't gonna get any easier. In a world that tells us to prioritize the self above all, love demands that we recognize the self in others. It demands that we push against the tide, that we step outside of our custom-built, hyper-personalized realities and meet others in the wilds, in the unpredictable spaces between your ego and mine. You want a new faith? You want a new polytheism? You're in it. You and everyone else that awakens into their own divinity. In some ways, we're reaching back to the past. In other ways, we're reaching out to the future. But as we bring those threads together, we must recognize an uncomfortable truth. The world as it exists now is dying. And in my view, it deserves to die. It is a world of living death. Let it die so that life can become life once more. Let it die so that we may breathe without its suffocation. Now, I wish I could tell you on this day and in this moment that I love you all. I strive to, I want to. But in so many ways, hatred still pulses within me. Misanthropy. But I know it has no place in the future, so I must kill it once and for all. I must kill it so that I may live in a world that has no room for it any longer. I am Fray. I am a wizard. I am a shaman. I am a magician. I am a philosopher. I am a clown. I am a fool. I am a god. Who are you?
If you enjoyed the insane ramblings of this madman, consult your inner throng of gods and goddesses. Eat 2 fairies and call me in the morning. You may also find it valuable to visit the astral plane or the links in the description, including a new Substack. Leave your comments down below, unless they are stupid, in which case you may keep them to yourself. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like. Give this symbol your energy. And most of all, give yourself the world on a silver platter.